evening and welcome to the Cairo International Stadium. It's match day 1 in Group A of the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations as hosts Egypt make their tournament bow here against a high-powered South African squad, with both teams looking to make deep runs into this tournament. We've had the opening game of the tournament already this afternoon from Ismailia, a high-quality 0-0 draw between Zambia and Sierra Leone, also in this Group A. Now it's turn for, say, our tournament host, and one of the favourites as well, South Africa. Egypt flattered to deceive in the previous edition of this tournament, also held here in Egypt 2 years ago, bowing out in the group stage. They will hope to do considerably better this time.
دكتور مسبي باسم اللجنة التنفيذية الكاف وباسمي أعطوني أن أشكر مصر، رئيس مصر والشعب المصري والحكومة المصري والاتحاد المصري على استفادة هذه البطولة الأفريقية تحت الناشئين مصر.
Well, we'll leave the CAF officials to their pre-match speeches ahead of the game. Fortunately, I can't translate that for you into English. Certainly, this is the start of a big tournament, running from today until the 18th of May, the final. So, being played here, say, on the evening of the 18th of May.
And now the opening speech of the tournament. والآن الكلمة الافتتاحية للبطولة يلقيها معالي وزير الشباب والرياضة المصري دكتور أشرف صبحي.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نرحب بكل وفود القارة الأفريقية، الاتحاد الأفريقي والاتحاد الدولي في مصر، مقر الاتحاد الأفريقي لكرة القدم، وكل الشكر والتقدير للاتحاد المصري لكرة القدم على الجهد الكبير في استضافة هذه البطولة، والتي تتوافق مع أسبوع أعياد سيناء، أعياد تحرير سيناء، وكل الشكر والتقدير للدعم الدائم للقيادة السياسية للرياضة المصرية. ونعلن باسم الله افتتاح البطولة الأفريقية تحت 20 سنة القاهرة 2025 المؤهلة لكأس العالم للشباب تحت 20 سنة.
Looks like the speeches are over, at least for the moment. It's a good crowd in here. In this stadium holds 75,000 people at capacity. There's already a good crowd in here for the opening ceremony an hour ago. Looks like it's filled up somewhat since then as well. Locals desperate to catch a glimpse of the of what they'll actually call the under-20 side, the old Pharaohs, in fact. We'll be back shortly after the...
For those who love it, those who support it, and those who play it, Orange is here. Orange, proud sponsor of African football.
Here, we're known for our sense of service. It's all about finding ways to support you. Day after day, doing everything we can to be useful and providing energy in all its forms. Everywhere, every time, all across the continent.
Well, the atmosphere ramping up here inside the Cairo International Stadium. The teams and officials there making what's a pretty long walk, actually, from the dressing rooms into the stadium. It's a warm-up all of its own, I think. But,
Egypt and South Africa. فلنرحب
there's the
بالمنتخبات
welcome.
الوطنية لمصر وجنوب أفريقيا.
Plenty of what appear to be vuvuzelas in the background. The South African players especially will be used to that having been very much the soundtrack of the Men's World Cup back in 2010 when it was held in South Africa. New noise for many viewers watching the games from all around the world. Should remind you as well that this is a little bit of a false start for the tournament over the next few days here, simply because Group A has one extra team compared to Groups B and C. Both of those having 4 teams, but 5 teams in this one. Zambia, Sierra Leone, our host, Egypt, of course, South Africa and Tanzania. So extra matches to be played in this group means a little bit of extra time. So while match days 1 and 2, 2 games today, 2 games as well on Wednesday in this group. The other group's not getting underway until Thursday, the 1st of May.
سيداتي سادتي برجاء الوقوف لسماع النشيد الوطني لجنوب أفريقيا.
starting with
Ladies
South
and
Africa
gentlemen,
and
please
Cozy
rise for the
Sikela.
national anthem of South Africa.
Lord bless Africa.
Remain standing for the national anthem of Egypt.
Now the Egyptian national anthem, Miladi, Miladi, Miladi. Homeland, my homeland, my home. Absolute racket of noise coming from those fans. the end of those anthems. Just a couple of minutes away now from our tournament hosts from getting their tournament underway. It's the 14th time Egypt will have played in this tournament. Here is the lineup. Big names to look out for there. Mohamed Zalouk, the Al Ahly striker, actually on loan to Future FC at the moment. Technically efficient in front of goal. His goal scoring will be very important as they try to get their hands on this trophy for the first time since 2013. Also in there as well, Kabaka, the captain, the number 8, overflowing with technical qualities. Takes a valuable role going both forwards and backwards. Scored a couple of times in the qualification tournament as well. Our match officials today: Kiso Nama from Togo, our referee, just tossing the coin with our captains, Kabaka and Aseka Tiwani for South Africa. Assistant referees, Eba Etienne from Côte d'Ivoire and Khalidou Abba from Mauritania. There's our VAR for today, Abdelaziz Ahmed and Karine Fomo from Sudan and Cameroon, respectively. Hopefully they won't be needed too much during this game. They're the lineup then for South Africa. Katuano with Laku, the Mamelodi Sundowns right winger, made a bit of a breakthrough with the senior side this season, already leaving his mark there. Pace, skill and an eye for goal. Fletcher Smith low as well, the goalkeeper. Solid between the posts, unbeaten in qualification. 5 games South Africa played, they scored 16, they didn't concede a single goal in that qualification tournament. And they come here certainly full of confidence and hoping to do a little better than they have in recent editions of the tournament. So they didn't qualify for the last 2 editions, got 3rd in 2019, 4th 2 years before that. Their best result in this tournament, in fact, a 2nd place back in 1997. Their first visit to the tournament, that one held in Morocco. They lost their opener against Côte d'Ivoire, still made it to the final, lost 1-0 against their Moroccan hosts in their quest for the title. Smith, long ball over the top. A little bit too much on that. Expect this game to be a tight and cagey affair. South Africa very much based on defensive solidity, playing on the counter-attack, and well, first foul coming in from Omar. Ngalile Philly upended that. So certainly the South African side, coached by Raymond Mdaka, very much defensive solidity, will hit you on the counter-attack, that hit you hard and fast, but not sure they get much chance to play on the counter-attack against an Egyptian side very much set up to play in a similar fashion. The side there just failed by Shene. It's tidied up by Tato Sibaya. Looks like he's lining up on the left-hand side of that back four. Captain Tuani in the centre. Smith thinks about bringing it forwards, gives it to Kakana instead. He threads a nice ball through. Sabia again on the ball. Maku dropping deep from midfield to give options. Picking up the ball now. Kakana again. South Africa don't want to do anything rash with the ball. They don't want to be caught on the transition here by Egypt. Be roared on by the home crowd. Again, Shene dropping deep, trying to bring others into the game. Now the ball out to the left, intercepted. The header only going as far as Sabia. Nice turn from Tuani. Eventually that's going to be, I was going to say that was an Egyptian throw. Kabaka makes that point as well. He did look from this angle, but that was, I think, on the blind side to the linesman, so he might not have seen that. There is Raymond Ndaka, South African head coach. Philly running at the defence, just trying to stretch the game a bit, tries to get in behind, gets a good ball across as well. Oh, and it's been fumbled by the goalkeeper, missed by the defenders as well. Fed back to Vilakazi, and he couldn't quite get the shot off. A real let-off there for the Egyptians in just the 5th minute, and they've given the ball away in the final third again here. Well, you can forgive them. Some of these players, a few nerves, big crowd here, and big expectations as well. Especially after the failure to qualify for the knockout phase last time out round 2 years ago. The tournament ending with a 4-0 humbling at the hands of eventual champions Senegal at the end of that group phase. Space over on that left-hand side now for Egypt to attack into. Red shirts pouring forward, the ball pulled back. Smith not with the greatest of clearances for El Sayed. A fairly tame effort straight into the hands of Fletcher Lowe. Just seemed to lose his footing there, Tylon Smith. Just about kept in play. South Africa dominating possession early doors here. South Africa need to be careful with possession. They've given it a ball away again here. El Sayed. Egyptian formation at the moment looks fairly fluid, it has to be said. They've lost out in midfield there. Some quick interpassing, but then Kabaka gets a foot in. El Sayed over on the left-hand side. Kabaka dropping deep. Very much set the tempo and pace of the game for the old Pharaohs. Big bounce of the ball there. Did see as well a couple of days ago when Al Ahly took on the Mamelodi Sundowns in another Egypt versus South Africa clash in the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League. Despite heavy watering on the pitch, it was still pretty hard and bouncy. But now South Africa can come forward and the shot comes in from distance. Oh, off the post. What a goal that would have been. Looked up, saw the keeper off his line, took the chance. Katuano with Laku. So close to the opening goal of the tournament after the opening 0-0 draw between Sierra Leone and Zambia. The keeper nowhere near it. He's hit that from all of 45 metres as well. The keeper had no chance. Well, what a moment that would have been. Well, South Africa have looked pretty composed early doors here. Sama Nabi projecting some instructions. That was the earlier moment where Monaim, the keeper, fumbled it. Very lucky not to give away a goal-scoring chance there. They just couldn't quite find space for the shot. Good tackle, in fact, in the end, coming in from Mohamed El Sayed. South Africa definitely having the better of things early stages here in Cairo. Nice footwork there. Moving the ball around quickly, then the final ball. It's a slight miscommunication. You can see what they were trying to do, but the forward has had to check his run. Risk there, putting the back pass in between the two uprights. And as normally, if you're going to pass the ball back to the keeper, you make sure that it's not in fact on target with the goal, just in case there's a bobble or a bump or something and the keeper misses it. Nice ball from Kabaka. Just trying to stretch the game a bit here, Egypt, but Zalouk couldn't get on the end of that. Cleared by Lowe. Kabaka with the header. The offside flag eventually going up. A tight one. Just leaning off despite looking along the line. Coach won't be happy with that one. Smith under pressure. Egypt trying to press high. Not the best of passes though from the goalkeeper. That's gone out for a cheap throw-in. Almost level with the edge of the penalty area. Lob forward again. Zalouk just seeing his run blocked off there by Tawani. Kabaka finding himself the furthest man forward there as he tried a one-man press. Surprisingly, not particularly successful with that. South Africa come forwards again, using pace on the outside, using good pace on the outside, the good ball in as well, and that was an important defensive header from Mohamed Samir. Had Philly lurking behind him, waiting to pounce. Philly goes over. I think he's waiting for a teammate to come over to take the corner. I think he's going to be left with it himself. Strong start this from Amajita. Philly goes long to the back post. Not quite away by Sharif. Tawani keeps the ball moving quickly. Trying combinations through the centre this time, South Africa, so changing up their attacking approach. We've seen a couple of flowing attacks down the flanks using pace already. Well, swiftly out and the ball given away on the edge of the area here. And Egypt getting away with what Kakana just couldn't quite, again, find room for the shot. They've won the ball high at the pitch once more. Philly got help outside him. Philly goes alone down to the byline, then puts the ball back to Vilakazi. Egypt really under the pump here. Now Sabia continues his run as well. Nice pop pass, cut back. Important interception on the edge of the 6-yard box at the front post. Kabaka. Well, Egypt being swarmed here in their own third, but now they can break out. 3-4 red shirts coming forwards. Some pace injected on that left-hand side. Now the ball comes across and Smith heads it behind for a corner. The easiest man to recognise on the pitch with that hairdo, Tylon Smith. Faced with Stellenbosch. At the moment, who've been enjoying their first run in CAF competition this season. Smith Lowe organising his defence for the set piece. Samara Ma. Looks like he's going to be trying to make a nuisance of himself in the 6-yard box. 5 red shirts, in fact, lined up on the edge of that box. Now a bit more movement. Now the ball comes into the near post, and well, Samir got there ahead of the keeper. Just got a little bit too much on it, and that was a real chance for Egypt. Lovely delivery. South Africa with over 60% of the ball in the early stages here. Egypt living off scraps of possession and finding themselves really pressed hard into their own, in and around their own box at times. South Africa guilty of perhaps not being clinical enough in the final third. Kabaka. Leaves it off again. Gets it back. Waheed dropping deep from midfield for the moment now. The ball comes forward. It's easily won back by Philly. Three-day turnaround, by the way, for these sides before the next round of fixtures in this group. South Africa will take on Tanzania at the Suez Canal Stadium in Ismailia. Later on the same day, Egypt will play their second game against Sierra Leone. At that point, every team in the group will have played at least one game, if not two. And the rest of the groups can get underway as well on the following days. Sabia, I think, wanted a bit more movement in front of him. A little bit static out there at the moment. Now the pace comes down the right. The side for Vilakazi. And the ball given away, then half charge down. Kabaka again on the ball. It's like there's three of the number 8 for Egypt on the pitch at the moment. He's absolutely everywhere. Abdeen chips it to the right, nice header inside from Samir. A good chasing back though from Maku. Long ball looking for Eshene. Takes the ball out wide, inside now to Ithlaku. His attempted cross, half blocked. Needs to be tidied up by Mohamed Sharif. Interception from Kabaka. Egypt, though, struggling to play their way out of their own half. Game being squeezed into their half of the pitch at the moment. Philly running at his man again, trying to get down to the byline, gets past Samir, puts the ball across goal. Picked up on the edge of the area, space now for the shot. Lifted towards the top corner, and the keeper didn't know that was missing, did he? Not far off from Lithlaku. Just trying to tuck that into the top corner. These days, that's known as a Salah, isn't it? Mohamed Salah scored earlier today for Liverpool on their way to picking up a 20th English League title. Half of Cairo. Well, already celebrating. That's a lovely ball down the line, by the way, for Sharif. Sharif battling his way against Nakwali. Eventually the foul goes against the South African. Sharif wants more from the crowd. Gets it immediately. There's the tug of the shirt. Throat sorting out his walk. Kabaka. It's a few deep breaths while trying to decide what to do with the set piece. 6 red shirts there in the middle, waiting to make their run. Everyone behind the ball. Actually, no, not everyone behind the ball. They left one man up. Togolese referee making sure everything is present and correct. Now the ball can be whipped in. And he's gone for the edge of the area. Instead, it's gone straight to Ashene, and now South Africa on the counter-attack. This could be really dangerous for Egypt. 5-6 gold shirts coming forwards, and that's an immense tackle from El Sayed, but they still haven't cleared the ball. The shot comes in, parried away by Monaim. And then a bit of a missed kick from Vilakazi. The danger is cleared for now, but that was dangerous for Egypt. In truth, a poor set piece from Kabaka. It's not the first time South Africa have not really taking advantage of numbers going forward, as Philly is unfairly taken off the ball as we go past the midway stage of this first half. 0-0. And well, South Africa have certainly had the best of it. There's the trip from Samir. Whipped in, put behind for a corner by Mahab. Shrugs his shoulders. Decent delivery to the back post. Keeper could maybe have come for it. Vilakazi, who took that free kick, goes over to take the corner as well. And this will be the in-swinger. Two men at the front post for South Africa. Three more roving in the area. Ball goes deep this time. Kabaka heads it away. Picked up by South Africa just outside the area. Philly goes past Kabaka. Shot half blocked, in fact, by his own teammate Ashene. Eventually runs into a red brick wall on the edge of the area. No danger of that defensive unit parting like the Red Sea, I can tell you. South Africa still pinging the ball around quickly, leaving Egypt guessing. They have been much the better side so far. They've got a man down, they're going to put the ball out of play here. Flaku came closest to opening the scoring earlier with that shot from distance. Having a bit of a limp there. Looks suspiciously like Hossam Hassan, the Egypt national coach, maybe looking at some of the next generation. Always good to keep an eye on the age groups to see just what's bubbling through. You can add to the national side, especially with the World Cup coming up next year. Egypt have already qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. They've made a good start to World Cup qualifying as well. Of course, it's just that bit easier now for African sides to qualify with those extra places in the now expanded 48-team tournament. Frustration at the back as well for Egypt. Bustenji not happy with the lack of movement. Say opening night nerves, I think, for Egypt. They're on the attack now, having won the ball high up the pitch. Amar, he loses out. And just look at the speed here that South Africa are turning defence into attack. Quick 1 and 2 touch passing, keeping the ball moving, mostly at least anyway. Pace on the ball from them. They've certainly settled into the game a little before their opponent. Oh, lovely play there from Kekana. Now Philly on this near side. Cuts onto his right foot, then has the shot at goal. Well, was there an arm there? Or was that the upper body from the Egypt defender? I think it was Samir. Looked like he leant forward into the ball. I wonder if there's a VAR check going on for that. Nice to see a replay at least. Samir telling the referee no. I think that's VAR check over. He was quite close to the shot. That was a robustous challenge coming in on the edge of the area. Lovely footwork there. The shot blocked though. And Sabia trying to pull the trigger. They've done everything so far, South Africa, but get the ball in the net. They've looked sharp, especially in forward areas. Those two just bumping up their passing stats. Sibia now. Philly in front of him. Goes for Vilakazi instead. Vilakazi. Bumped off the ball by Kabaka as he found the pass to Sibia. Now Smith brings it over halfway, spreads it out to the right-hand side. Space to be utilised there. The run in behind from Maku just ignored for the moment. South Africa just probing. Everyone behind the ball for Egypt. Now Philly. He's got down to the byline a couple of times already, a slight miscontrol there. He's managed to keep the ball in play and he's eventually tripped from behind by Samir. Remember, all of the ball has to go over the line. Not just the bit in contact with the floor either. The entire sphere. A free kick in a promising area for the South Africans, half an hour in. Shane lurking. Big lads from the back will be up there as well, no doubt. There's Nkwali, marked by Sharif, just on the edge of the area. Smith bouncing up and down behind him. Ball goes to the back post towards Smith, a little bit too much on it, in fact. South Africa, another ball whipped in, and that's missed everyone. Tell you what, Smith could have thrown himself at that head first, and he might have got a meaningful touch. Number 9. Trying to encourage the defence in front of him. They've managed to avoid conceding so far. I think considering the balance of play, it'll be pretty good. South Africa, well, they're going to regret dominating most of this first half, but not getting the goal to go ahead in the game. 32 minutes in, still 0-0. In fact, the XG is actually in Egypt's favour, just due to one chance, really. Don't let the XG fool you. Inadvertent handball for Rashane. But yeah, don't let, sometimes statistics do lie a bit. I say, certainly if you looking at the statistics now, 2 shots for Egypt, 8 for South Africa, but the XG very low for South Africa because a lot of those shots have been blocked by defenders sliding in at full stretch. But believe me, South Africa have dominated the early stages here, but they might be made to regret that. 4 players up on this one. The attempted cross, not great from Omar. Tries to volley it across this time, deflected and then headed clear by Smith. Still not cleared by South Africa. Back into the area again, laid off. Oh, and just taken off the toes of Kabaka as he tried to pull the trigger. And now South Africa can play on the counter-attack. They've got plenty of pace here. Ashane turns, waits for the support to arrive. There's plenty of support here already. Vilakazi out to, tried to get it out to Philly, but instead passed it straight at Samir. Now Philly again. Philly goes past one, goes past two. Nice cut back inside. Hard tackle, winning the ball on the edge of his own area from the Egyptian defender. Ball well won by Maku. Tawani now. Gets the ball out to Smith. Now spread wide right. Nakwali over on that right-hand side. Got an Egypt player on the floor here. South Africa eventually put the ball out. Sama Amar. Man, he's gone down. Didn't see the incident though. Looks like they're readying a change here. Mohamed Abdallah will be a like-for-like replacement. What happened here? There. Well, it's not that. No idea what's happened to him. Sama Amar. For the Egyptian bench, definitely moving quickly to make a replacement here in just the 35th minute, 36th minute. Players taking the opportunity to take on a bit of extra water 10 minutes before the break. Just gone down all on his own. So Mohamed Abdallah, the 19-year-old Al Ahly prospect, prepares to come on. Just hope that for Sama Amar that's not a long-lasting injury. It's a long tournament. So Mohamed Abdallah comes on, fingers crossed for Sama Amar. And it's just a knock and nothing too serious. Well, room in behind now for Lethlaku. In plenty of space here. Options as well to aim at. Precise pass. Couldn't quite find room for the shot. And Egypt with another player down. Two players down, in fact. Mohamed Sharif being one. The two Egyptian players clattering into each other there. And this is not good. Looked like they were putting a device into the mouth to help him breathe there. So immediately calling for another substitution, Egypt. They've already made one. Could be another one coming up. So it's been not the easiest of first halves for the old Pharaohs. As Malema Kakana discusses tactics with his coach. Simon Nabi not happy at all on the sidelines. Of course, the health and safety of the players of utmost importance. More important than any game of football, that's for certain. The South Africans now need to try and keep their concentration with all these stoppages. The question is, who's going to be needed out on the pitch? Sharif being stretchered off. Finally get back underway. Egypt yet to introduce a replacement. South Africa with the ball against 10 men at the moment. Kadir. Oh no, it's not. In fact, it's Safaga. About to come on by the looks of it, a defensive midfielder. Sami Mahab will drop into left back. Safaga into that three-man midfield.
Sharif is replaced by number 25, Saifuddin Safaga.
So Safaga, defensive midfielder from NP. Quite a few NP players actually in the squad, 3 of them in total. Ahmed Wahid not happy with the foul going against him. There's some frustrated Egyptians out there at the moment. They've lost 2 players to injury already in the second one. Mohamed Sharif, fingers crossed. It's nothing too serious. Looked like they were putting a device in to help him breathe there, so. Well, have knocked himself out with a bad landing after that clash with his teammate. Now then, Kabaka wins the ball, brings it forward. El Sayed tips it onto the left-hand side. Nice ball into the back. Oh, just too high. And deflected out for a corner. Suddenly Egypt having produced pretty much nothing through the first part of the match. Teasing a ball. Lovely cross from Mahab. And only just avoiding Abdallah. If he was just a few inches taller, he might well have got some sort of meaningful contact on that. Now the corner. 4 red shirts on the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away. Kabaka. And volleyed back in. It's going to turn into quite a decent pass almost for El Sayed. Beautifully clipped ball. Abdallah just couldn't quite climb high enough. Spread wide to the right. Iflaku brings the ball off. He's in search of the return pass. A lot of that in this South African side, and then he just doesn't quite anticipate Hashane's movement. Ball dribbles out for an Egyptian goal kick. 2 minutes to go before half-time. There'll be quite a lot of stoppages as well to add to that. I'd have thought a good 4 or 5 minutes. They've enjoyed 63% of possession. So nearly 2/3 of the ball so far in this first half, South Africa. They haven't taken advantage of it. Ball forward there, Abdallah battling for it. That goes out for a goal kick. Kakana coming across, desperately trying to get a foot on that. Sabia involved with it. Egypt winning the ball high up the pitch for a change here. Those stoppages appear to have done them the world of good, and the shot comes in, but it's fizzed way over by Mahab. South Africa maybe just losing their concentration with those 2 long stoppages, pretty much back to back. Four minutes to be added on at the end of this first half. Abdallah, faced by 2 defenders. Still on the ball, Abdallah. And eventually has it taken off him by Sabia. Kakana lays the ball off. South Africa determined not to play the ball too long, aren't they, at the moment? Now Philly, out to Vilakazi. Vilakazi dances past Wahid. Tries to get away from Kabaka as well. Smith goes back to low. It's a very cultured ball out to Sabia on this near side. Philly lays it off. Maku spreads it to Kakana. Now there's a bit of space for Vilakazi to move into. Support outside him from Lethlaku. Lethlaku goes past his man. Lethlaku, oh, just hesitated at the vital moment there, didn't he? Still in possession, and man over on the right-hand side there. Lethlaku gets it back from Vilakazi. Vilakazi again on the ball. Now he has the shot. He digs that one way over the crossbar. The best of defensive clearances. Abdallah working hard as a target man since coming on. Abdallah. And that's going to be the goal kick. Safaga getting involved in that move. Abdallah certainly providing nuisance value at the very least. The last touch, yes, just coming off Safaga. His right toe. Goes long. Kakana dispossessed. Maybe an opportunity here for Safaga to turn defence into attack. The ball back inside for Kabaka. He is well tackled. That's a thumping tackle from Safaga, by the way, and Egypt win the ball again high up the pitch. Abdallah spots his man in the area. Could well have gone for the man on the ball now. Just a bit of miscontrol from El Sayed. Still on the ball, El Sayed. Now room and time to measure across into the area. Abdallah with the header, but completely mistimed it, jumped too early. That will go out for a South African goal kick, but certainly the 5-6 minutes we've had since those stoppages for injury, Egypt have all of a sudden turned the game around. South Africa dominating the opening 40 minutes or so, but all of a sudden find themselves on the back foot just before the break here. And this probably going to be the last action of this first half. The 4 minutes now up. So just time for this corner. 5 shirts to Waymat in the area. Goes to the back post, and the header from Abdeen goes wide. And there is the whistle then from Ekleso Gnama, our Togolese referee, bringing the first half to an end. And it's been a first half full of, well, skills and interpassing from the South Africans for the first, 35, 40 minutes or so, but then a couple of injuries, including a horror for Mohamed Sharif, really taking the momentum out of Amajita's game. And Egypt finishing that first half on top, having been very much second best for most of it. Promising signs for Osama Nabi's side for the second half. Hopefully the injuries for both Osama Amar and Mohamed Sharif not too bad, but fear the worst for Sharif after the way he was stretchered off. A 0-0 at the break. South Africa looking very good through most of it. Created 9 shots, 6 shots for Egypt, 4 of those right at the end of the half, in which they were mostly passed off the pitch. The South Africans into passing and quick 1-2 touch play, cutting Egypt apart at times. Just couldn't quite find the correct touch in and around the area. The Egypt back four working very well indeed, and they've had to as well. We'll hope for better in the second half. At the moment, at least, our tournament hosts on level terms here with South Africa. It's 0-0 at the break. Cairo International Stadium in this match day 1 encounter between Egypt and South Africa in the under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. So hosts Egypt got their campaign underway in the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations at the Cairo International Stadium on Sunday evening, up against a strong South African side. And it was Amajita starting very much the best in this one. Kutlwano Lithlaku nearly opening scoring with a speculative effort from distance. The keeper caught off his line, getting nowhere near it, and fortunate to see that ball Karoom off the outside of the upright. And South Africa swarming forwards in the early stages. That effort from Lee Ashene beaten away by Munaim. The South Africans quick interplay and 1- and 2-touch passing, causing Egypt all sorts of problems in the early stages. Set pieces too, an issue for the old Pharaohs. That ball coming in, missing everyone somehow as it flashed across the face of the 6-yard box. But near the end of the half, Egypt did start to make some sort of impact at the other end of the pitch. This teased ball in, just missing substitute Mohamed Abdallah. Egypt forced into 2 changes for injury in the first half. But looking all the better for those changes in the last 5 minutes before the break. It's 0-0, half-time. Well, welcome back then to the Cairo International Stadium. Goalless at half-time between hosts Egypt and South Africa. South Africa looking very impressive indeed in that first half. We were told ahead of the tournament that it'd be all about a solid defensive structure and counter-attacking play, but what we've actually seen instead from Amajita is a team full of vibrance and one and two touch passing, simply cutting through Egypt at will, it would appear, until they get to the penalty area, and then it all seems to be falling down at the moment. Well, they certainly had the best of the first half here in Cairo. We're going to have a first change coming up as well, so
player number 6,
Kwali
replaced by number 2,
replaced by Maxwell Timber.
Substitution for Egypt.
Kaiser Chiefs right back, so like for like there. Don't know if that's due to an injury or a knock or something picked up in the first half. He was having trouble defensively in the last 5 minutes before the break, so maybe there's something about that. So the 19-year-old Sifiso Timber comes on. Already two changes enforced for Egypt in the first half due to well, Osama Amar went down all on his own. We didn't see what happened to him. He got a replay of a couple of challenges before that, but there didn't seem to be anything obvious. Must have just tweaked a muscle of some sort, just sank to the ground, and was eventually taken off to be replaced by Mohamed Abdallah. Then a nasty looking clash with the head for Mohamed Sharif, the left midfielder, as he was starting the game. Saw him replaced as well, but certainly since those changes, Egypt looking at completely recharged force coming forwards. Mohamed Salouk taken off at half-time as well. Well, we didn't see that one coming, with Mohamed Rafat coming on in his place. So no natural forwards out there now for Egypt. The clutch of attacking midfielders they have up there. Well, Rafat looks like he's going to lead the line, at least for now. Oh, and the ball given away in a dangerous place there by Kakana. Header as well, missed by Smith. And it was a substitute. Rafat couldn't quite get enough power on the header. Not sure how much he actually saw of that as it came his way. Now can South Africa refine the rhythm that defined the opening 35 minutes or so of this game? Pinging the ball around with such confidence. Vilakazi and Leflaku both having a major impact on the game, as well as Philly on the left-hand side now. Vilakazi comes inside, picked up by Maku, and he just sees that one rise over the bar. Certainly, you'd imagine both these sides will be a force to reckon with in this tournament. A reminder, we've got three groups. This Group A starting a good 4 days ahead of the other groups, because they have the extra team in Group A, 5 compared to 4 in Groups B and C. Playing dangerously at the back there is Abdeen. Well, to keep the ball in play in the end, and just even winning a throw in there. Now Kabaka, the centre of everything for Egypt. captain. This ball laid off, but Smith anticipating for South Africa. Not the best of balls out though, intercepted by El Sayed. And Abdallah cuts inside. So he wants to make room for the shot at goal, but that one was always rising. And may have been a bit wide anyway. Going out for another Egypt throw. Smith with the clearance from the edge of the area. Good intercept there. Oh, and challenge came in. I think we're going to get, did we get the foul from the referee? No, we didn't. The ball had already been won. Baka this time playing safe. And a touch from Samir. Slightly loose one, letting that one go out to play. Trying to make way down the left-hand side. A good run coming in from Mohab and a teasing ball in as well. Well, the Egyptians claiming for a penalty. The foul, in fact, going the other way from the referee. Have another look here. Great run from Mohab. Ball comes in. I think the defender just pulled back. Sibia it was, the right back. Manu at least started as the right back, sorry, left back, I beg your pardon. Forgotten my left and right. Now South Africa trying to spread the game here, ball over the top. They do have plenty of pace up top with Lee Ashene, Philly and Lethlaku as well, also blessed with plenty of speed. Oh, and a slip from the defender. Opportunity for El Sayed. El Sayed faced with Smith. Jinks down to the byline, just about gets a half-deflected ball in. Stabbed clear by the South African defence. Egypt certainly starting the second half a lot better than they started the first. Really allowed themselves to be bullied back into their own third of the pitch for the first half hour of the game, did Egypt. That has changed now. Mahab with the long throw. Missed by the defender, eventually cracked clear by Smith. Now Lethlaku. To be kept in play? No, it isn't. Just a little bit too much on it for Vilakazi. Well, I tell you what, Vilakazi, Lethlaku and Philly, the attacking trio in behind Lee Ashene, they could have a real bearing on how this tournament develops, you know. Never easy on the opening night of a tournament, especially if you're the tournament host such as Egypt tonight. So much pressure. Of course, don't forget, these are young players. Not usually used to playing in front of large crowds with huge amounts of pressure on the result. And again, Plenty of life in the pitch here. That saw them water it before the game. Saw them water it again at half-time as well. To say the ball's over the top. And it's not just skidding through, and they're bouncing high as well. 2 nights ago, Al Ahly faced the Mamelodi Sundowns and another Egypt against South Africa. Clash in the second leg of their CAF Champions League semi-final. Saw the ball bouncing high, bouncing big in that game as well, despite the pitch being absolutely saturated before the game. I mean, the ball, you know, a pass on the floor was generally being slowed up by the amount of water, but a bouncing ball was caroming up in the air. See again there. And that ball has bounced about as high as it came in at. Shove in the back for Rafat. Lovely play from Kabaka. First the control and the pass as well. Now the ball teased in at the near post. The keeper came for it. Got something on it, and that's some very cool and calm passing in their own penalty area. And they've got a man down in the 6-yard box, South Africa. It's the captain, Seka Tiwani. The ball came in here. Oh, it looked horrible. That's his knee bent in completely the wrong direction. Completely inadvertent, the contact coming from his own goalkeeper. And he's had all his knee braced on that leg. You've seen the knee just bend in an unnatural direction. There could be some ligament damage there. This would be a really real pity for the tournament. I mean, 3 players out injured already in just this game. You always wonder, say, the 3-4 days between matches as well. There's not much time to get fit again. If you do pick up an injury, and you can see how upsetting is that. Oh, that's horrible. Absolutely horrible. I mean, there's no foul or anything like that. The keeper's come for it. The defender's coming back. Mohamed Ndaka wants a bit more from his side. Get really to rediscover their poise from the opening half hour or so. And I think they're about to lose their captain. Oh, the team medic with one of the more obvious signals there, calling for the substitution to be made. Who's going to come on in his place? Looks like Ahmed Wahid. Oh, sorry, no, just beg your pardon, looking at the wrong team sheet. Which would explain why I was looking at a midfielder, but no, it looks like Gopalang Tonyana, Kaiser Chiefs defender, going to come on now. One assumes to come in as a like-for-like central defender. Can only pray that's not the end of the tournament for Seka Tiwani. Desperately unlucky there. The thing that made it particularly bad for him there as well was the fact that he had all his weight on his leg. And then his knee had nowhere to go. The weight of Fletcher Smith Rowe. running onto him. The offside flag goes up against El Sayed. So confirmation to Wani.
Substitution for South Africa. Player number 10, Bufundo Vilakazi.
Place now at Joya Vilakazi being taken off. Been a bit quiet since the break. Had a big influence on the first half. Mogamat Abrahams comes on in his place, another one of the Stellenbosch players in the squad. Usually plays out on the right. Wonder if Lithlaku will move into a more central position now. Looks like he's playing at central at the moment. Oh, that's a lovely ball in behind as well now. Things opening up here for South Africa. Lithlaku makes his run into the area. The shot comes in, palmed against the post, slashed clear behind for a corner. And not for the first time. South Africa hit the woodwork. They just haven't quite found a way into the net just as yet. Lovely bending run round the defender. Cut inside Ashane. Tried to beat the keeper at his near post. Just got enough of a touch to put it onto the post. A puff of the cheeks there. Now the throw comes in. Missed at the near post. Hoofed clear. Smith under pressure, goes all the way back to Smith low. Kept in play by Timber. Pace. Balance on the ball as well. Looks like Philly might have moved into a more central position. Started the game. He's played exclusively over on the left in the first half. There's a certain fluidity though to this South African lineup. Corner for South Africa, just over the hour mark. The substitute Abrahams takes it, goes deep to the back post. Smith gets something on it. Kekana keeps the ball alive for South Africa. Abrahams, bit of a poor first touch. And now the flag stays down here for Egypt, and Abdallah in behind. Oh, brilliant strike from Abdallah. Out of nothing. And just moments after South Africa so nearly took the lead, the old Pharaohs have gone one up. And it's the substitute, Mohamed Abdallah, set clear down this left-hand side. Have a look here to see if there's any chance of an offside. Looks like he checked his run perfectly. Difficult to be certain from the camera angle. The defender's coming across, and that's a brilliant finish. Managed to poke that underneath the leg of Sabir as he chased across from left back. But Egypt have struck on the counter-attack, and it's going to be very hard now for South Africa. Just waiting for the VAR check, I think, on the offside. Confirmed now by the referee. Or has it been? Wait a moment. Haven't seen much in the way of replays. Now the referee does confirm. VAR check over. And the hosts have taken the lead, as you can tell from the noise coming from the crowd here in the Cairo International Stadium. Now that you got the briefest of flashes there of the lines from the VAR. It looked tight, didn't it? Philly beaten in the air, picked up by Maku in midfield. Now Philly gets a chance to run at his man, twisting this way and that. Samir had a tough time over there, trying to cope. Langalile Philly. Stellenbosch wide man, looking a real handful out there, the number 17. Chance to come forward again. Well, Egypt so improved right at the end of the first half and early in the second. Now, will they? The question is, press forward from there. Will they sit back? We've seen it. We've seen the Egypt national side in the past. We've seen Al Ahly cast masters at it. Of course, you've got the goal lead. You don't need to commit too many bodies forward in attack, as long as you know that your defence is going to be solid. And certainly the way South Africa played it, the opening half hour or so, that defence had to be solid. Oh, now opportunity here for South Africa. Oh, off the post again, third time in the game. The Egypt goal play having a charmed life here. deadlock, who beats the ground in frustration. All over the top, brilliant first touch there. I think it's just come off the shin of the goalkeeper. Brilliant ball in, that first touch was fantastic too. And it's just come off the shin. I'm not sure if it made a difference in the direction of the ball, but my word, how have South Africa not scored so far? 3 times now. And it's 3 times against the same post, the left-hand post. And deadlock, that's his last touch, he's been substituted. Well, the keeper's stayed down. Have another look at the opening goal for Egypt. Still no confirmation of actually who came on for deadlock. Some more instructions for the players. Unsurprisingly, the keeper is fine. Both teams claiming Egyptian players geeing up the crowd. I don't think they need geeing up, to be perfectly honest. Huge amount of noise coming from the stands, considering you have to remember it's not a full house here. 75,000 this place holds. They're not going to fill that. It seems like everyone is making as much noise as they can. Picked up in midfield. Now they come forwards. It's the substitute for Lithlaku, Shaquille April on in his place. Cape Town City wide player. See yet another replay of the goal. South Africa dispossessed while we were watching yet another replay of the goal. Right on the edge of the Egypt area. Nice touch from Abrahams. Not as much space in midfield as there was in the first half for South Africa. Egypt with the wind in their sails now. El Sayed faced with Smith, goes back to Kabaka. "20 minutes plus stoppages to go." It's been a what I would call a faster second half. Fewer stoppages at least so far. Abdallah's gone down in the area. Holding his left foot, being encouraged to get up at the moment. It's a long ball over the top, not defended very well, was it? A bit to think of what our American cousins would call flopping. Abdallah gets up, looks absolutely fine to absolutely nobody's surprise. Oh, and the late one there, that might be the first booking, you know. Sayed caught late by Timber. referee make sure his paperwork is all present and correct. 16 minutes to go here in Cairo. Egypt leading by a goal to nil. Saying after a very nervy opening 30-35 minutes or so, have been much improved. South Africa rather losing their way after a couple of injury stoppages in the first half. Kabaka brushing his man off the ball. Releasing Abdallah over on that far side, who's then dispossessed by Sibiya. Sibiya still tries to get away. Eventually does so, staggering on. But the quick interplay and the 1-2s not really there. There's no attempt to play the ball at all by the Egyptian midfielder. Surprised that isn't a yellow. Maku. Crossfield ball driven into the run of April. Under pressure, eventually gets a deflected cross in there, picked up by Kabaka. Maku again. A little cheeky. It wasn't a shot, he was just trying to bend that one in for the run of Ashane. Couldn't quite get enough spin on that. The best ball back from Kakana, but Abdallah just a little bit too impetuous there, trying to get the ball back from Sibiya. Better from South Africa as they try and chase an equalizer. Timber plays the ball in for April. April lays the ball back. No room for the shot. Still no room for the shot. Being pushed back all the time here, South Africa. Now the shot comes in and it's sliced well high and wide by Ashane. It's been very much the name of the game for South Africa. Lots of lovely fluid approach play, but it's not quite able to find the right avenue for the shot once they get in and around the penalty area. Again, that one, even if it hadn't have been miskicked, would probably have hit one of the three Egyptian defenders standing bang in front of him. Goal kick taken long, flicked on by El Sayed. South Africa might have to start taking a few extra chances in the last 12-13 minutes or so. The top two in each group to go through to the quarter-finals, plus the two best third-place sides. So an opening loss won't be the end of the world for South Africa, especially. Oh dear, and a mistake there from Smith Rowe. Ball laid back across goal, and a very important full stretch touch from Kakana. Saves the goalkeeper's blushes. Nice layoff. This is looking more like the South Africa from the first half. Then the ball comes in just a little bit too much on it. A thump of the turf from Shahil April. Smith Rowe here, completely missing his kick. Smith having to come across to try and cover. El Sayed picks up the ball in midfield. Gives it away, in fact, poor pass. Now what can South Africa do here? Maku being closed down. Kabaka eventually gives away the foul on the edge of the centre circle. April feeds the ball in. Moves looking for the return pass. Here's Timber, dispossessed by Wahid. Not the best of clearances though. Oh, and the crossfield ball gives the ball away, and all of a sudden it's Egypt on the counter-attack here. Oh, lovely weighted pass, got the timing just right to Safaga. But Abdallah not quite so perfect with the shot. Abrahams now picks the ball up in midfield, trying to play a fairly similar role actually to Kabaka. Trying to set the tone. That's a poor crossfield ball though, not enough on it. Maku now. The ball does eventually get out to that left-hand side. Running at his man. Comes inside, can't find the pass, picks up the loose ball, does Philly. Philly now turns, shoots. Deflects out for a corner. 10 minutes to go here in Cairo. Egypt leading by a goal to nil. South Africa now pressing forward for the equalizer. You'd have to say they deserve one as well for some of their enterprising play, especially in the first half. They didn't take advantage of it though. Can they muster something now? 12 South African shirts to aim at in the area. Smith misses the header. The shot blocked again. Shot from outside the area, blocks, deflects, headed away from the edge of the 6-yard box. Allowed to bounce. I think it was a Tunyana. Was about to go for the overhead, did well to withdraw from it, otherwise it would have been given away as a foul with the defender in too close a proximity. Kikana. Abrahams. Timber gets the ball into the area, gets up quickly from that challenge as well. South Africa still dominating possession on the edge of the area. Timber puts another ball in, laid off. Too many touches though in the area from Philly this time. Needed to be the first time shot. Still can't get the cross in. A little toe poke from Samir, and that'll be a throw for South Africa. There might have just been a quick VAR check going on there, and that's a poor throw. Looks like it slipped out of the top of the hands of Sabia. Didn't get the required purchase on it. Now Abrahams shoots from distance, and well, the keeper was worried. It was always going wide. Maybe it brought the ball forward a little bit more. It's always going well wide though. Surprised the keeper dived for it actually. Safaga battling in midfield, eventually hassled off the ball with a couple of good tugs of the shirt of Abrahams. The referee trying to let play carry on. Some of the South African players looking a little disheartened here. Meanwhile, Sama Nabi, the Egyptian coach, looks like he can hardly look at the moment. Ball goes long. Touch from Abrahams out to the left. Philly can't quite pick the pass, and then the linesman taking his time before finally pushing the flag out to his right-hand side. Give the throw to Egypt, which looked like the fair call, to be honest. Five minutes left for Egypt. Be such a boost their quest for qualification if they can hold out here for an opening win against arguably the strongest opponents in this Group A. Yeah, the other sides in here, Sierra Leone and Zambia we saw play. They look pretty evenly matched actually. And that's opening 0-0 draw with South Africa coming forwards now. Philly lays the ball off, shot comes in. Sliding challenge, saves it for Egypt. Abraham's denied, now Timber to Maku. Philly more in a more central position for the moment. Timber thinks about going inside, but there's space for Abrahams on this right-hand side now. Curls one in there, headed away at the near post. Maku lays it off. Space now on the left-hand side. Abdallah tries to close it down. And a poor touch from April gives the ball back to the Egyptians. South Africa doing well. That's an absolute rugby tackle from Safaga. That's got to be a yellow card. And he's still holding on to him. Still holding on. A bit of bad blood starting to brew here. Samir at the centre of it. And there the inevitable yellow card for Safaga. I mean, it wasn't just a rugby cat tackle, it was then refusing to let go of him for about 30 seconds afterwards as well. I mean, that would be a penalty in rugby, not letting go of the man once he's on the ground. So, yellow card. An opportunity here for South Africa. Everyone behind the ball for Egypt. But only 5 yellow shirts on the edge of the area. Seems a little peculiar, chasing the game late like this. Surely you need to load the men into the box here. You don't need 4 or 5 defenders when everyone's behind the ball. Now another one comes in. Now the ball whipped in as well, headed away by Samir. Maku drives into the area, forced back. Abrahams can't latch on to the pass. Kakana, Timber. Smith wide on the right, ball comes into the area, the header straight at the keeper. South Africa pressing forward now. As much in desperation as anything else. Lovely technique on the header. Tiana as well, it was the substitute defender. Popped up in the area there. We've now got another Egyptian player on the floor, being temporarily ignored by the referee. El Sayed tries to come forward, tackled by Smith. Kakana beaten in the air. Still everyone ignores the player who may or may not still be on the floor. And now another man goes down. Well, there's going to end up being a lot of time added on at the end of this second half at this rate. referee making a show of the rugby tackle earlier. Just refused to let go. Well, emotions on the bench. Going to have another change here as well. Mahmoud Labib, another Al Ahly defender, inevitably coming on. Bit of extra water for the players. The game has been stopped now for what, about 2.5 minutes. No sign of it getting back underway again yet. Could be a huge amount of time added on here. Here come the substitutes. Looks like Yusuf Hafiz as well. Ceramica Cleopatra right back coming on. Who are they coming on for? That's the question. Instructions there for Hafiz. I guess he's going to come on for Mohamed Samir. Oh, 8 minutes.
Is 8 minutes as a minimum.
Yeah, an absolute minimum is going to be an extra minute added to that as well, because we still haven't had any action yet in this second half stoppage time.
لمنتخب مصر. Substitution for Egypt. خروج اللاعب رقم 21
Ahmed
وحيد ونزول اللاعب رقم 13
coming off.
محمود لبيب.
Labib coming on in his place, plays usually as a centre back, might be
Substitution for Egypt. تغيير لمنتخب مصر لخروج اللاعب رقم 22
Mohamed El Sayed as well, also coming off. So I think they're moving to a back five now, Egypt. Might even be a back six. So, what can South Africa do now in the last, well, it says 8 minutes of stoppage time. It's going to have to be at least 10, actually, if not more. Drive the ball through midfield, South Africa. So the short, sharp passing in the opening half hour, not quite there anymore. The likes of Vilakazi and Mthalaku already back in the dugout. Samir goes down the line with the throw. Abraham's beaten in the air, now picked up in midfield. Handball though from the substitute, Hafiz. Well, that looked borderline, didn't it? It's supposed to be the, if you have a short sleeve top, if it hits you below the sleeve, it's a handball. Above the sleeve, you're all right. That looked 50-50. Trying to use some pace down the wing, and April just couldn't help it, giving a little shove there on Mahab. Be a spot of cramp there for the number 14 for Egypt, Mahab. It's not been particularly hot, just around about 20 degrees, not too humid either, so no need for any water breaks.
Ali Asheni leaves the field for player number 18, Tabang.
Ali Asheni comes off. And Tabang Malangu comes on in his place, SuperSport United striker. Can he find something right at the death of this game? I wonder. Foul given by the Togolese referee. Again, that one looked like the one that was given against Egypt a few minutes ago. That one looked really quite borderline, especially as he had his back to the ball there. Well, just 5 men up by the edge of the area here for Egypt. Now 4. Of course, they're a goal up here in injury time. They don't really need to put too many men up there. Drifted to the back post, one in the air as well, but the header well over the bar. Smith Rowe scampers back. Timber miscontrols it. The last thing that Amajita needed. The end of the game here, very stop-start. That will suit Egypt down to the ground. Habib Abdallah swings one in, headed away by Smith. And Safaga might feel himself lucky not to, if he hadn't already had a yellow card, he might have got one for that. Challenge coming in on Shahir April. Kikana a little bit lucky with that deflection off of Abdallah. South Africa need to get the ball forwards now. Running out of time for niceties. Philly popping up on the right-hand side. Timber. Timber again. It's the ball back inside to Kikana. Good footwork from the referee to get out of the way of that one. No real pace or width on that left-hand side, though. And they've lost the ball here, and there's going to be a yellow card for, or is there going to be a yellow card for the attempted challenge on Abdallah as Egypt stream forwards now. And Kabaka tries to cut inside for the shot. Couldn't quite find the space. And that's really well played in the end by Sabia, somehow getting the challenge. Rather disappointed to see the free kick go against South Africa. Not three, oh, no, actually, no, the ball going out of play. Abdallah now will take this into the corner. Try to win himself at corner or a throw-in, didn't get either. Abdallah again. Kabaka. There's a nice ball in there for Rafat. Smith eventually bundled over the line. Last chance saloon here for South Africa. Nice pirouette. Another nice bit of footwork from Abrahams. Space over on that left-hand side. The ball needs to come back in. Abrahams now doesn't pull the trigger again. Ball back out to that right-hand side. The ball potentially comes in, but it's high and wide. And that may well be the last chance for South Africa. The Egyptians again geeing up the crowd. Absolute crescendo of noise. It should get to at least 10 minutes. After all the stoppages, we didn't get past. It was about 2.5 minutes into the 8 before we actually restarted play. My estimate, there's maybe half a minute left here now for South Africa. They really need to get on with it now. Philly brushed off the ball by Kabaka, and that could well be it. Long ball over the top, just smashed away by Egypt. And Egypt have indeed started the 2025 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations with a vital 3 points that could well see them on their way to topping the group here in Group A. An adoring crowd in the Cairo International Stadium. The only goal of the game from substitute Mohamed Abdallah came on in the first half after injury hit the old Pharaohs in the opening 45.
Man of the match award goes to man must from Egypt. رقم 10 number 10
Mohamed Abdallah also the man of the match as well. The perfect start for Egypt. They were really under the pump the opening 30 or 35 minutes or so, under all sorts of pressure. And eventually, after the enforced changes, they really worked their way into the game. The better side certainly at the end of the first half and early in the second. South Africa did come back into it after the only goal of the game in the 62nd minute. But that Egyptian defence looks very hard to breach. Mind you, they did ride their luck. South Africa hitting the upright no less than 3 times in total. Twice with the goalkeeper completely beaten, the third with the keeper actually getting a fingertip just to push the ball onto the post. So they've ridden their luck a bit there, Egypt. Could well have been a couple down before the opening goal went in. Sometimes that's just